Crazy part about life is sometimes you don't know what you're here for. Like, there's so many times I almost died as retarded, and I'll be sometimes just thinking, like, why am I still here? Bullets done flew past my head. So many times, like, when I was young, I almost drowned. I almost choked to death on one of those big ass peppermint balls. I almost fell to my death. Um, almost got hit by cars, buses, trucks. You know what I mean? Long time ago, accident, slipped my wrist. You know, people bashed me in the head with rocks and bricks and stuff. I don't even, like, I know the scar's still there, but I don't know how to show y'all. You know what I mean? There's times I was in Montgomery, almost got shot, got jumped, stomped out, head smashed on the steps, concrete. Like, a lot of things happened. Like, I was going to Cary Woods one time. Bullets ran past me when I was young, still in high school. Like, just walking with two females to the house. Like, yeah, I'm about to go smash Danae. And it was like bullets raining. They ran. I'm just looking like, who are they shooting at? Like, once they ran and I realized that there was nobody else around, it dawned on me, like, they were shooting at me. What was crazy was, why? Like, I can hear the bullets ricocheting off the building next to me and off the gate. What I couldn't understand was, what did I do to, like, influence people to shoot at me? That's why I look at Jersey City the way I do. I have a reason. Like, they do stuff for the dumbest reason. Ain't nothing man or tough about what they do. They just snakes in the grass, to be honest. A lot of them. Not all of them, but most of them. You understand? And then these females have they kids and then breed more snakes in the grass, rats and everything. So we really ain't got no future, to be honest. If I look at it, like, according to gene pools and stuff like that, unless the science is wrong, which 9 out of 10 it probably is, we really ain't got no chance in hell. Not with these kinds of people out here. So, because I'm just walking home through Cary Woods and some dude in a black car drive up. He in the driver's seat, got this young dude. I'm looking at him like he had to be younger than me, like pointing at me. And all I know is he started shooting. I ain't run. I just looked at them as they were shooting, and then I guess the gun jammed and they had to go. And I was just confused. Like, yo, what did I ain't do nothing to nobody. And that's when I realized, like, you don't have to do nothing. You could just be messing around with a female that a dude wants, or, you know what I mean, unknowingly messing around with a man's female because she want to be a thought out here. Almost died. It's just crazy. It was in Montgomery Projects. It was all at the table. Boys came out of nowhere. One boy, and he pointed the gun at me and my friend. Like, he's about to shoot us and all this other stuff. Like, I was just confused. Like, what's going on? Like, we almost lost our lives. He wound up shooting somebody. And that was just crazy. Like, so many times I was just minding my business and bullets was flying. I was on Chaplain Ruckus. Bullets flew past my head. Like, I can hear it, like, breaking the wind. Like, when it going past your head, it makes a certain sound because it's like breaking a sound barrier, like, right by your ear. So it's snapping. And it's like, yo, like, I almost died. And then I go around Forest Street. They sending bullets our direction and saying, like, it's like first off, I don't even mess around with these young bucks. Like, we cool. I chill with a lot of people, man. But I don't carry on with the drama. Like, I'm not like them. Like, I don't sit up here and get into a situation with one person and call all these other people. Like, that's just lame to me. Like, y'all forever gonna be lames in my mind. Like, y'all can't handle nothing by yourself. Like, it's a one-on-one fight. Handle your situation. Like, why all these innocent people got to be involved in your situation, or why innocent people got to die because you got a beef with one other person? Like, y'all need to handle it, and if y'all can't handle it, then y'all can't be respected for it. Understand me? Like, that's just the way it is. I don't care. You understand? Like the truth will be told, and that's the truth. Like, they just lames to me. Like, I just don't care. Like, they just weak ass lames that depend on uh their social status or whatever the case may be, and not looking weak in front of everybody, but they look the weakest to me. Like, yeah, anybody can pick up a gun and shoot it. Anybody, a 5-year-old can take a grown ass man life with a gun. It's the gun doing all the work. It's not you. You're not tough. The gun is. That's what they haven't figured that out yet. But it is what it is. You understand? Like, these lames gonna be lames forever. Because these females gonna always mess around with these lames, and they gonna produce more lames, and we just gonna have a lame ass future. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? And I was out there talking to one of the Brim homies and beating it down with him, talking about his video, you know what I mean, that he had on YouTube or whatever. I said, yo, we need, as a community, we need to get together, like, woo woo, and bullets was flying through like it was nothing. I seen my boy running the store. I seen everybody hitting corners and running. You know what I mean? I stood there for a minute, and I again watched as this man just point the gun out the window, tinted windows, and boom, 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 boom. Trying to figure out, why am I still standing? And it hit me like, Khan, you still standing because it ain't your time yet. Let's go. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So I could have sworn from where he was at, popping off, I shouldn't be standing. Like, either he trying to get one of them, or he trying to get me. That's what I was trying to figure out. So I said, bunk it. Let me just turn around and run. As soon as I go to turn around and run, this old fat thought on the ground trips me and I fall, right? Reason why I call her a thought is because when everybody get up, she ain't got no wounds or nothing. And she just looking at me like, yo, I think I'm hit. I think I'm hit. I'm like, where you hit? She like, in my pussy. I said, how you feel like you hit in your pussy? Because it's wet. Like, we almost died out here and you trying to catch. It's time for me to go. Like, you bugging. I ain't making this up. So I just kept it moving. Like, yo, I can't be out here like that with these people, man, because I be everywhere, man. And I don't know who be beefing with who. And if they see me with A, B, and C, they might feel like, oh, he with them. Nah, I'm by myself 24/7, 365. Like, I mess with people. Like, I'm cool with homies and anybody out here, with Crips and Bloods. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, that's Jersey City. Like, I grew up with Crips and I grew up with Bloods. It's not, you can't define homie without defining where you from. You understand? Like, you can't say, oh, that ain't my homie because he ain't a Blood. If you grew up with that Crip, that's your homie. That's what homies mean, but they don't understand that. They don't realize that y'all taking a name from blocks. Y'all taking a gang reference from blocks that stuck together. You understand? When it used to be Forest Land, it was understandable, but Forest Land wasn't even Forest Land when I was on it. Like, it was Khalif against Forest Land, Khalif against Lexington, Khalif against Booker T and Lafayette, Khalif against Montgomery at one point, Khalif against Marion. I don't know if I ever had a fight with 16th Street, but it was Khalif against Kerry Woods, Khalif against Bramhall. Like, it was Khalif against Virginia, Oak, Iggy. It was always me. So And I always used to get mad because it's like, okay, I shoot the fair one, but yo, I beat one person ass and the other man to get mad and he think I got enough energy to beat his ass and his ass and his ass and his ass. And now I gotta take off. And people like, why you always running? Because it's always multiple fights. You understand? Like I could beat one of them up. Like I could shoot one of them to fail one, win or lose. But every time I fight one, everybody else is jumping in because they gotta win. And it's like if you gotta win like that, then everybody should be coming like that. But y'all not built like that. That's why I know y'all not built. That's how I know what I'm saying is like the absolute truth. Like if you were really built like that, you could do a one-on-one. But if you can't do a one-on-one, you really not built like that. You really not tough like that. So why are you acting like that? You understand? Like you don't even know what tough is. Shoot, I'm a veteran. They almost hit me with a missile. They almost hit me with a missile. Found out I had, asthma when I was in the army. Mind you, I had to go through the gas chamber. I thought that was my last time. I'm not even gonna make it out of here. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Not gonna make it out this gas chamber. When I made it out, I was so happy. Like, yo, thank you, God. Thank you, God. This is your work. I'm not supposed to be here right now. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, you go through a lot. And it just never stops, man. Just never stops. Like, there were times where I felt like my body parts going numb. Times I felt like I was about to pass out. There were times where the plane we was on in the army almost got shot down. Like we was losing altitude. We was nose diving, and it was just crazy. Like we really almost died, and I was there to see the whole thing in the cockpit because I had just had. It's like, you want to be in the cockpit? Hell yeah, I want to be in the cockpit. They like, okay. Fire. We were taking fire, something. And then the alarms going up, and all you could hear the lady say was altitude. And I'm over there like, the one time I want to come up here, this is what y'all do. And ever since then, I wanted to go in the cockpit because if I'm going to die, I want to see. like, is that the ground? Okay, you ready? Ready. Like, nah. Like, it was crazy. But it was almost as if I could feel my daughter getting sick recently, right? Because I got sick Monday. I ain't go to work Monday. Not knowing my baby was sick too. Now, I don't live with my daughter. Serenity, she lives with her mom. And her mother was like trying to contact me now. I was trying to get my daughter Sunday. I tried to get her at 2 p.m. And her mother felt like I should have got her earlier. So her and my daughter had a discussion where now she doesn't want to go with me. Me, I didn't believe my daughter would ever say something like that because I know she loves her father, right? So I goes to pick her up anyway, and when her mother says she's not going with you and she doesn't want to go, I said, tell my daughter to say it to me, right? So she like, right, Ren? And my daughter was like, yeah. And then she just want to argue. I was just tired of the arguing. So I said, bunk it, you win. You know what? That's one less child I have to worry about. You know what I mean? Tell my baby she ain't got to worry about no more. Because it hurted so much hearing my baby say, like, yeah, and all that other stuff. Like, she was, like, co-signing with this deadbeat woman. It was just like, yo, I can't deal with it no more. Like, it's like they want to turn my kids against me, use my kids as weapons against me, and I'm supposed to be the bigger person about everything. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not with none of that. Like, I have a dark side too, and actually it's more dangerous than hers, and it takes a lot more energy to keep me and my powers in check when I have real powers. You know what I mean? Like, I can like the stuff that be running through my head, I have to stay in solitude for, because I don't want to be in jail for the rest of my life. But imagine me blacking out on her. Me who's been through like fights with real men and beat down by multiple men and stood up as a man. Like I've been through a lot. So what could she possibly do to me without a weapon? What would make her believe that I would give her the chance to get one? What would make her believe that I ain't got the power to just knock her out with one hand? Like the damage I can do to her could be fatal. And I have to deal with that for the rest of my life. So it takes a lot of energy to keep a monster behind bars inside you when it's you. Right? So I'm like choosing like, and I'm telling her like, yo, just stay away from me. Like, do not come around me. I don't care. Like, I just need time. Like, I be needing time to like dissolve this in my head because it'd be so much anger. It's hard to deal with. You understand? And that anger made me blow up on Facebook. Now, I rarely go on Facebook with this BS. If I'm on Facebook, I'm angry. I'm angry because now I'm letting it be known that, yo, like, she got to stay away from me. I'm telling her, I'm not just projecting it to her. I'm like, your friends, your family, I'm warning you. Like, yo, she cannot be around me. I can't see her out here in these streets because it's not a game when you're using some child against them when that's really all I care about. Like, it's God, my kids, then myself. It's really in that order. Like, I really don't care. Like, if I cared about myself more, I wouldn't care about them doing what they was doing. I just say whatever and just pay child support and keep it moving. Like, I ain't got to do nothing the hell else. I don't have to do nothing else but just pay child support and mind my business. You chose to tell them what you wanted. You didn't ask for no time. Because I don't have no court orders from my baby mothers telling me that I have to spend time with any of my kids. They ain't go for custody. They ain't go for time. They just went for money. And that's all they're about. I mean, they proved it. So with that being said, carry on. You know what I mean? If me spending time with my kids was that important, then y'all wouldn't stop it. And if y'all or y'all would enforce it. You understand? But that ain't what they really about. These females are phony as hell. I mean, because if you think about it, they could all go to court and have the other parent spend time with their kids. You understand? Court order. But they're not doing that. They don't worry about none of that. You understand? It is what it is. So moving on. So 2 days later, my baby mother was like, for 2 days after I done put what I said and did what I did on Facebook, my baby mother was calling me for 2 days straight. Wasn't paying her no mind, right? So her mother calls me. I answered for her mother because I thought, being that it was a New York number, it was my cousin number. So her mother hits me out of the blue like, yo, why you ain't been answering my daughter phone calls? You know, Serena in the hospital. They got her on the oxygen machine. Now, I had my daughter out in the hospital by myself on an oxygen machine. I felt like my daughter's in there. She's going to come home, right? She was like, they had to transfer her from Jersey City to Newark to put on an oxygen machine. I just felt like they ran out of oxygen machines at medical center. Like, my daughter takes Nebulol, gets a nebulizer, whatever, Tributol, some type of medicine to help breathing and stuff like that. Like, she's supposed to have it at the house. You understand? But her mother doesn't have it at the house. I know she doesn't. So, because she doesn't worry about these things until it hits the fan. So boom. So I'm like shrugging it off. Like, yeah, my daughter be home. Like, why is she calling me for that? Like I'm thinking she just calling me to let me know my daughter was in the hospital. I said, well, she told me, let her figure it out. Like, blah blah blah. Like, I've been in the hospital well before. Like, she called and said she didn't need me. They ain't need me. She the mother and the father. So I said, let her be the mother and the father, because I'm not thinking it's serious. You know what I mean? I'm still in my feelings. So one of my baby mother friends like, oh, your daughter got mesothelioma. I said, what? Let me hit you back later, right? So I goes into look into the like definition of what the hell she was talking about because it just sounded serious. And it's cancer, right? So I'm off to see my daughter. That's after I was talking to my mother. My mother said, uh, go see my grandchild right now. She said, I'm not even playing with you, Khalid. Go check on my granddaughter. And I ain't want no problems. So I listened to my mom because my mother can be very, very persuasive. Because she really doesn't play. You understand? And I know this about my mother. So I went there, listened to my mom to make sure like everything with my daughter was okay, right? Look how long it's taking me to find out whether or not my daughter is. Yeah, I don't know which. Alright, check a light straight freestyle. Oh yeah. Alright, so check it. So I had went to go see my daughter. You know what I mean? So I'm calling the hospitals trying to figure out where my my baby girl at because I'm like, this is cancer. Like, and when I Googled hospitals for cancer for children, the very same hospital she was in popped up, and it took me and it broke me in pieces. So I'm like, oh hell no! So I'm rushing to go see my baby right now. So I guess one of the nurses found out that well one of the nurses told my baby mother that the father was on his way, and they were upset. She was upset rather. So she turned around and called me and told me this. I need you to come up here because I'm going to do everything in my power for you not to come up and see it. What is you talking? Once you said it to my child, she's not your child no more. I never said nothing to my child. Bro, get out my face. I do not have time for you. Power, I'm gonna make sure you I do everything in your power. Watch what happened. I'm tired of you talking to me like that. Watch what happened. I'm not worried about none of that shit. You don't need to. I'm not worried about none of that shit. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, nigga. I'm telling you right now. Or what? You're locked up. Right, okay, send the police, okay? You're gonna come up here, so you better go on with yourself. All right, I'm coming there right now, so call the police. And all right, and I guarantee you, I'm gonna do everything in my power for you not to come up the stairs. Okay, that's no problem. And you're gonna be right outside. Okay. You said you have one less child. Tell Serena you don't worry about. So why the fuck was you calling after the fact, bitch? Then why was you calling after the fact, though? 3 days. Why was you calling after the fact? Because I didn't know the fuck she was in the hospital for. I didn't know she was in the hospital. What she was in the hospital? Hey, Tiana, why you want to argue all the time, bro? It's up to you. It's up to you to be the bitch. But trust me, you're going to pay for it in the end. On everything I fucking love. On everything I love. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm tired of this shit, yo. Okay. Whatever. Keep thinking that mouth work. I'm going to show you. So you see that shit? She think because she was on the phone, her dumb ass wasn't being recorded. I noticed that she's a bitch and a horrible person, but she tries to cover it all up. And I noticed that about all my baby mothers. That's why I make these videos. I don't make it because I really have something against females, because I could care less about everybody else, to be honest. But this thing that they're doing with the kids is wrong. I would like to expose them and my baby mamas for the things that they are doing. So I had to ignore her, go to the hospital anyway, and get one of these, right? Now, let me tell you what her so-called power was. Her power was to lie. Now, my baby mothers, they like to lie and tell the police things to have me arrested. Abusing their power as women. and I'll be arrested for nothing. So when I went up there, she had told the nurse and them that she had documentation proving that I can't be up there. So they tried to tell me that I had to bring them proof that I could be there. And I said, I'm not stupid. If she's accusing me of anything, the burden of proof lies on her. So that pissed them off because I wasn't stupid, and that pissed her off because she is. So once she found out she failed in her attempt and everything in her power didn't work, and I wasn't even using real power, I was using simple logic. You understand? Which is like second nature to me, like common sense. Like it's really not no heavy thinking into that. Like that was just right off the top. Like every time they came at me, I came right back at them with common sense, killing everything that they thought they was smart about. And I was in there 2.5, right? So we had an argument in there. I recorded that. And I was sitting over there arguing with her, trying to figure out what was her main beef. Like I wasn't like all I was doing was talking to my daughter, getting one thing understood that daddy didn't mean to hurt you, because my daughter she was mad at me, like, but she was trying to make it seem like my daughter was calling me. My daughter doesn't even know how to call anybody. Like my daughter doesn't even have a phone, and she doesn't even know my number. And that's all I was trying to explain to my daughter. Like, don't let people put things in your head that don't belong there. Her mother put her on the shoes that fit, right? And got mad and started blacking out, saying I'm trying to make her look bad. How I'm trying to make you look bad, and you over here telling these people that I cannot see my child, and you have documentation to make it look like I'm a bad person. See, they are complete hypocrites. They're complete habitual lying hypocrites. And that's what I have to deal with. And I got the videos to prove it. So it is what it is. And I sat up there, I was like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm going to go back home after I was with her, after I got my little wristband, because I'm coming back to see my baby or whatever. You know what I mean? I come back. Now she want to be cool, cordial, and stuff like that. And she tells me that, oh, my baby wants to go home with me, so I'm going to sign her out the hospital, right? Not knowing that, not paying attention to the fact the weekend is coming up. So now I'm going to have to stay in the hospital with my baby over the whole weekend while her mother's out running about, right? So I'm doing this thinking I have to be here for my baby because she's coming home with me. Soon as the last day comes, you know what I mean? Now it's a whole change of heart. Now she's going back home with her mother. Somebody who doesn't have a vehicle or transportation is just basically using, like, she always uses people's sympathy for their best interest. That's what these females do. They like use everybody else's ignorance against them. So the only people that are stupid is the ones that believe anything they say, because they under the impression that she needs help, this, that, and the third, and it's not that she needs help for the child. It's she needs help, period, because she's mentally unstable. And they sat up there. She sat up there and brung her girlfriend, who she say she wasn't messing around with, to the hospital after a whole weekend of not being there with our daughter, because she was on the phone calling to make sure our daughter was okay. She wasn't coming up to visit her at all. Like the doctors, everybody witnessed that. That's why I was laughing inside. You understand? But I'm a guardian, because that's what I'm here for. Because my daughter, like, I knew I had to be there with her, because I said I was sick and you were sick at the same time. God was trying to tell me something was wrong with my baby. You understand? And then they were trying to give my daughter like 6 pumps of the asthma pump. I'm like, yo, that's way too much for a child. Y'all not doing that. I was watching that as my daughter's heart rate went up as they kept pumping that stuff. And I'm like, nah, she's not doing that no more. We had a whole argument in there. And it took for some doctors, some black doctors, to come in there to tell the Chinese doctor and all the other doctors that, oh, she doesn't need this. She's okay. And I said, that's right. And I was teaching my daughter like how to breathe, like to relax, because I know what asthma does. It gets you excited. And as you get excited, you don't breathe in enough air, because you're not really doing anything to warrant all of this oxygen. So now it becomes toxic to you because now your lungs are not working like they're supposed to because they're not in a realistic form of doing what it is you're supposed to be doing. Like when you gasp for air, there's a reason why it should be happening because you either been running or a strenuous activity or something like that. When you're doing it for no reason, it messes with your psyche and your brain is like, okay, you're not doing nothing. Why are you doing this? But something else is telling you, yeah, you have to do it. That's what's going wrong. Like that's the problem. That's really what asthma is. It's a neurological problem. Like it has something to do with your nerves. Like they react a certain way and cause other problems because it's how it works. I know that because I experienced it for myself. Like I have asthma, but I know how to control my asthma, my breathing and stuff by making sure I breathe on my own. That's whenever I make these videos, you can be hearing me breathe heavily. That's because I know I have to breathe because of my asthma. Because my asthma telling me to, and I say, and a lot of times the reason why you always hear me breathing is because my nose is always stopped up for some dumb reason. That's another neurological problem that they can't fix because it's like my brain not doing what it's like. It's not clearing this part. This part never cleared. Never. It is what it is. So yeah, I had to make sure they didn't overdose my daughter and stuff like that. Every day going to get her food and stuff like that. Then her mother, after a little weekend of shenanigans, come back. And then the first thing she says, like, yeah, you can see him on Friday. You understand? Like, and then I just felt so bad that was my daughter's mother. Because she's like, in my eyes, she's like the worst thing alive. Like people, if you pay attention, you can see what type of person she really is. Like, so the only time he can have his child is during the weekend. Not because, that's the only time the child is available. That's the only time you want to be free. Make it look good. Like, oh, I had her all week. No, the school had her all week. After school program have her all week. All you do is send my child to her room just like everybody else does. You understand? They don't spend no real time with their mothers. They spend more time with their bedroom. You understand? That's how I was looking at it. Things may have changed since I made these videos. Because they always trying to do things to like make me look like I'm a liar. And that's another reason why I do it. Because I know that's what they do. So don't think I'm just here to try to bash women. And I'm actually 10 times smarter than that.